Welcome back to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. I'm thrilled to be joined by my next guest, a sought-after author and speaker who teaches, entertains, and inspires audiences worldwide. Rob Jolles joins me here on the program. Welcome to Get Down to Business.
Well, pleasure to be on. Thank you.
Absolutely. So you have assembled quite an impressive client list. You've spoken at dozens of universities, companies such as Toyota, Disney, GE, and you've written your newest of 6 books called Why People Don't Believe You, Building Credibility from the Inside Out. Rob, that's quite an accomplishment. Let's talk about credibility and why there's this statistic that 48% of business recruits lack this vital skill set.
Well, it might be because when we start talking about finding a process or adding to our percentages of credibility, it's not necessarily something we just pull out of the air. It would be nice if we were taught that. Well, if we're taught that, we back it up, and it's usually what we call soft skills, which has got a horrible PR problem. So we don't really teach the soft skills. And so we're kind of left to our own unconscious competencies, and there's just no process in place to teach this. But I'm leading a fight that says let's get rid of the word soft skills and replace it with performance skills. And believe me, we all need to invest in them.
Oh, wow. So it truly is a crisis in the workforce. And today's corporations and academic institutions, they're sounding the alarm that new employees and job seekers overwhelmingly lack vital workplace proficiencies. So tell us a little bit about the research that you compiled in preparation for this book, and more importantly, where you see possibilities for improvement.
Okay. I had a petri dish I worked in for 6 years of anywhere between 200 to 300 people who were in career transition. These are people who've really often taken it on their chin. They've lost their tune, so to speak. It's actually what I wanted to call the book was, it's not the words, it's the tune. And so when you're beat up a little bit, and you don't have to be somebody in job transition, you could be a salesperson or an entrepreneur that's just lost their 3rd contract in 2 weeks, and your tune goes down a bit. Well, I worked with these people for 6 years and began to realize that resumes, LinkedIn sites, everything, words are great, but we have to help work with the tune, and that's where this book begins.
Fascinating. So we know that perception often becomes reality. And so I know in the book you talk about how pitch, pace, and tone can make or break how people perceive us. Tell us a little bit about some of your tips for those of us for those listeners out there that might be trying to make an improvement in how they are perceived.
Great. Okay. So, I go through small exercises where you can stretch your pitch and actually mark up almost like a music sheet where you're going to pause and just sort of practice that. But I got to tell you, the secret sauce to me is I don't have time to write all that out in an instant while I'm having a conversation. I really think if we think more like method actors, in other words, we actually embrace the fact that we do play a character sometimes when we're empathetic. We do play a character when we're trying to get the client to feel true empathy back to the client. So why can't we actually find characters like that and actually begin to, as an actor, develop a character? Now the pitch, the pace, the pause, they take care of themselves because we're in the moment. We're authentic.
Interesting. And once you improve on the credibility, how do you sustain that credibility for the long haul?
Yeah. That's the hard part. And actually, the good news is that's more political in terms of getting a little bit of political intelligence. And I mean within businesses, within corporations, as entrepreneurs. And so it's not enough just to learn how to be credible. We have to stay credible. And that means just learning processes for things like knowing when to be wrong when you know you're right, and what really fitting in with the team means, and how to talk to your manager. And so I don't want people to just kind of get through that gauntlet and get hired because they can make people believe them. I want them there. I want them to sustain it, and so that's the back third of the book.
Oh, fascinating. Well, I don't want to share all of the secrets. They are in the book, Why People Don't Believe You, Building Credibility from the Inside Out. But that is only one. That's the most recent of your 6 books. So you've written a lot, and there's a lot of information out there. Rob, where can people find the book, purchase a copy, and get in touch with you?
Great. Okay, well, Amazon, online, things like that. But we just found out FedEx is actually going to be picking up the book, which is nice. So next time you're in making a copy, maybe you pick one up there. You can also just reach out to me at my website, which is JOLLES.com. And I've got something called a Bull article. Comes out every 2 weeks. You can sign up for that if you like, and I'll tap you on the shoulder every 2 weeks with about 500 words.
With some great tips and information, no doubt. So Rob Jolles, thank you for sharing that advice with our listeners. I can't wait to get through the book myself and hopefully share it and pay it forward with folks out there that want to learn how to improve their perception, improve their credibility. Thanks for sharing those tips. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. Pleasure talking to you. Thanks.
Absolutely. Well, coming up after the break, we'll continue the conversation on entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about STEM. I'm thrilled to be joined by a fascinating guest who will share about some innovative and quite fascinating work. And exciting to have Stephanie on the air with me here. As always, you get on my website, shalomklein.com. To download podcasts, get a sneak peek of who will be on next week on the show, all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. We're going to be back in just a moment. Chicago, don't touch that dial. You're listening to Get Down to Business.